Boom! Hey, welcome. Chat with Gunner, episode 127. We're coming to you. It is Thursday night. I just finished up a baseball game with Marcus. We got beaten our first Dizzy Dean game. We play a game again on Saturday. But if you're listening to this is Sunday. It's probably about 9 to 10 a.m. And it's Father's Day. So for all you fathers out there, just wanted to say Happy Father's Day, especially to the OG, to the one that created to me. My dad, just want to say Happy Father's Day to my dad. Best dad out there. Always there, always by my side, best friend, biggest critic, always, turned me into the man that I am today. So thank you for everything, Dad. I love you. I do. Got the best parents in the world, man. So, if you're listening to this right now, for all you dads out there, Happy Father's Day. It's cool these days for me getting to kind of get to be that too, get to be my day also, what I'm saying? So cool things. Anyways, let's recap a little bit about what's going on. Last week, we had a busy week, so on Friday I actually met Ethan. We met Ethan at Freightwave Studios. Freightwaves is in town. I'll call them the ESPN of logistics in town. So went and got on the What the Truck show with Timothy and Vincent. Had a blast. We talked mainly about professional wrestling and very little about logistics, but it was just really cool to get to go onto the show, the number one podcast in the logistics space. So, and they had the belt to prove it. But, the one thing about going on a show like that is a strict hour, that is daily, that is, almost like a news station or something that, it's that produced and directed and that much structure, unlike this one, is that there's time, there's cues, and you have a certain amount of time. So I know I had about 20 minutes going on, and I think I actually got a little bit more than that. So, I appreciate them. Ethan was there. Ethan filmed everything from behind the scenes to actually get some B-roll footage and some stuff for us to put out a trailer or some kind of like behind the scenes of Chat with Gunner and some other stuff that we have coming up, so we can get that stuff out to you. And then, talk to those guys again, and they wanted to talk more about wrestling, more about the death match, and, more about all the stuff and logistics and other stuff, and just more long form. And I was like, hey, guys, I run my podcast more like Joe Rogan. We can come on, we can talk for 30 minutes, or we can talk for 4 hours. I don't really care if the conversation is going and it's good content and it's a value to the audience and the listener, and I feel like that I'm learning something from it as well, and the guest is having a good time doing it. Why not? So they're going to come on this Thursday, I believe, about 6 p.m., and that one will come out next Sunday. So, I got several episodes lined up for the interviews during the middle of the week. So that'll be more logistics, more sales, more stuff like that. So busy. But also on Friday, after following me to Freightwaves and getting that behind-the-scenes footage, it was a really cool day because then we met back over here at the studio. How to get that selfish plug? Yeah, we met back over here at the studio, and Sting and Ethan rode with Tia and Marcus and myself down to Canton, Georgia for Southern Honor Wrestling, which we all know was the main event, and the death match. About spilt that, have been hilarious on camera. and the death match between me and Tank. So when we went down there, there's a project that I don't really want to talk about that I don't know if I can talk about it, but that is following. I'm part of it, following me around the independent professional wrestling life, the family life, the work life, stuff like that. And they filmed me back in like November, December of 2019 when I first came back, and now they're filming the death match. We're about to wrap up some more footage, but so we're getting kind of going to Canton, getting information about the death match and the family, and my thought process and stuff like that. And I was pretty candid. I was very candid. I was very open. I didn't hold anything back. I really give you a behind-the-scenes look of my thoughts on the business as a whole and why I do it, exactly why I do it, and my mental process and everything leading up to a match. So it's really cool stuff. And then the death match, man. Hey, I was nervous. Y'all know me. I don't really drink anymore. So I went to the gas station on the way there, and Sting rode down. So, of course, there was beer in the car. And so I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to Stone Cold this thing tonight. I'm going to do a little honor to Stone Cold. I'm going to drink some beer in the ring. And I made my mind up. So I probably had about 6 beers in the back before I went to the match, and then I had beer in each pocket as I walked out to the ring. I popped one open in both corners during my entrance. So I'm about 8 beers in at this point, and obviously those were spilled all over me a little bit. And then, by the end of the match, I'd already finished off 3 more, and I believe I gave Tank 1 as well. So, but let's talk about the match, man. Let's just go ahead and break this down. So I got to the and this is probably a good episode thing to clip as well. So, and I'm sorry if you're listening to this. I'm telling Ethan so that we have timestamps kind of when we should clip things to take things to other platforms to get more people here. Welcome to my advertisement. Anyway, so the death match, I get to the building, go to our section where I know that Tank and Rev are going to be. I run into Jeff G. Bailey. He's excited. He's ready to be there. So I was fired up to see him. And then I see Rev and Tank, and we go over the match. And here's how we went over the match. We called the finish. It was awesome. We knew that going into the match, we was going to do the Nathan spot where he hits him over the head, and then he turns around, and then I spear him through the light bulbs, and then 1, 2, 3. But literally everything else in the match we did not talk about. So if you go to that match, the reviews that came out from Georgia Wrestling History, multiple reviews, they were all very positive, all complimentary, and thank you so much for those reviews because I really was nervous going into this death match. And I wasn't nervous because of the weapons, right? I wasn't nervous because of the pain and stuff like that. That's not what had me nervous. I was nervous because I was going into a niche of professional wrestling. And when you go into a niche of professional wrestling, which is already a niche in itself with a very kind of generic, fan, me being one of those types of people. And then, within those fans, you have subgroups, right? You have like the WWE fan, the AEW fan, you have the indie fan, you have the crossover fan, you have the old school fan, the new school fan, and then you've got like that hardcore death match fan, and that's a thing. That is a thing. Like there's a lucha thing, and then there's a death match thing. So I don't think that it's easy to get those guys respect, especially the workers and the fans, because if you don't do it at one of the promotions that is big into death matches, like a lot of promotions, they do death matches all the time. So it's you're accustomed to seeing good death matches at those particular shows, right? And with certain guys, that you're going to have good death matches. But, when you do one at a place that had only had one prior, and the guy that was in that match, Nathan, who did a good job, man. It was one of his first matches, if not maybe his first match. I'm not quite sure. He's been in like the Rumble and stuff, but, his first match is like a death match. You give it up to him with Tank, But to have the first real like main event, lots of eyes on it, promoted around it, death match, and to have it at Southern Honor Wrestling was a place where we don't really do that. The crowd is not into that. The crowd that came is not a death match crowd, so you don't get that natural electric reaction that you would at a other death match. So I think that based off the reviews, based off what Tank and I talked about in the back with Jeff and Rev and the other workers that have complimented the match, and I've watched it back now myself a couple times. My dad filmed it, and I've talked to Marcus about it, so as long as Marcus likes it, that's all that matters. And, I was pleased with it. I really was. I think that, Ethan, what'd you think? What'd you think about the match? You haven't, but you've never even seen me work. So the first time you've ever seen me in a match, I wasn't in gear. I wasn't doing my normal thing.
Yeah.
I'm drinking beer and beating people with weapons. So what'd you think?
Personally, oh gosh, this camera is terrible. I'm not that red, I hope. The match I thought was really good. To be fair, because we were filming for the unannounced project that we can't really talk about yet, because I was filming for that, my job was supposed to be film Marcus and Tia's reaction, because this is a death match. The stakes are a little bit higher, quote unquote, you could always get hurt doing pro wrestling, but there's definitely a higher chance in this, even though, the weapons that are being used aren't necessarily made to hurt you. They're actually made in a way that won't hurt as much. But they can still, there was I'm pretty sure there was a grill fork
Yes.
There was definitely a grill fork
Yes.
that, I mean, let's be honest here, you fall on that wrong, that could pierce right into your skin.
Let's break that down. The biggest question I get, and this is probably one of the clips as well, the biggest question that I was going to have going into the death match was, hey, what weapons are you using, right? So let's just break down what weapons were used, and if I forget any, Ethan, try to fill it in as well. So let's start off from the top. We used our hands a little bit. Me and Tank were not afraid to hit each other, so we used our hands, and we were pretty stiff with each other. There was a trash can that I brought to the ring that was used, the trash can itself and the lid of the trash can. There was a barbed wire baseball bat, wooden bat, that I used as I hit the garbage can on Tank. There was several Mountain Dews laced in barbed wire. There was an oversized kitchen grill fork. There was a wiffle ball bat with, I don't know what exactly the explosives were. I know there's some type of a firework, like a popper or something, but they were much larger than like just a popper.
They were like bigger than a popper, about the same size as a firecracker.
Yeah.
But they went off when you hit them with it.
Yeah,
so
they sure did. So, yeah, I mean, that spot, when the back, Tank goes. So I guess the only thing we did talk about in the back was, how to use certain weapons, right? Because I've never done it. So, with that one, he goes, hey, man, just hit me on the back with it and then turn it over and then hit me again. So I guess I don't know what happened. I don't know if I swung too hard or what. But when I hit him the first time, the ones that made contact with him exploded, but the vibration of the bat coming back up to the wiffle ball, the plastic, exploded the top part simultaneously and literally went off in my face. So there's a very brief second where you look at me in the video and playback of the match where I'm literally blind and deaf. I feel like a flashbang just went off in my face.
So that was funny because I eventually when that project comes out, maybe we'll talk about it a little bit more, and maybe they use that footage. But there is I was filming Marcus and Tia, and I heard you guys get closer on our side of the ring, and I was like, okay. I stepped to the side, and for a split second, I know for sure there was a noticeable jump of the camera because I just heard a very loud bang, and then multiple other bangs, and I had stuff in my hair, stuff hit me, and I was not expecting that. I wasn't even paying attention to you guys to know that had happened. But there's also 2 doors that you guys got thrown through. Yeah. Thumbtacks.
The doors were, sturdy. Sturdy to say the least.
Real doors.
Yes, doors were sturdy. Tank. I threw Tank into one, and we didn't get enough momentum, and he didn't go through it. So then I was like, "Hey, move!" And then I went through it myself, and I had to throw myself through it. And I've been through several doors. And then the thumbtacks, light bulbs.
And now here's my thing. We've built this office. We had plenty of old light bulbs that we replaced all of the things in the ceiling, so we got LED ones now that don't burst when you accidentally drop them.
Yeah.
They're all plastic. It's nice, but we used to have all the glass ones.
Yeah.
And I remember a couple times where we were trying to take them to the dumpster, and maybe this was just my innocence back then.
Yeah.
I did not know that when I threw one in, it would pop.
Oh.
I knew what was in them. I knew that obviously a light bulb breaking is not a good thing.
Yeah.
But I have a very specific memory of throwing one in and it just popped, and I remember, being covered in glass. Now, a couple years later when I had to do it again, I remember being around the corner when I threw them in all at once, and none of them popped that time. But I would never sign up to be in front of one of those things, let alone break it with my shoulder, Gunner. And I mean, I get it. they're supposed to burst into small shards, but I feel like that's worse.
Yeah. So, what you're referring to, obviously we went through I went through the light bulbs twice. We used a total of 3 bundles.
3 bundles being how many?
3, I don't know how. I guess there's like 4 to 8 in a bundle, if I had to guess. Maybe 4 in a bundle.
I know for sure Tank at least like hit you over the back with like at least two swings and popped them.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. But yeah, we used that, and then we used the skewers. The skewers were literally the things that you put like shrimp on a Barbie, and stuck in my head. So that's what actually busted me open. So now, let's talk about what the 3 most painful spots were in a death match. Because I don't follow people that get on here talking about deathmatch wrestling. But let's talk about how the pain was. So the thumbtacks and the light bulbs. Everybody asked about that one. That's 2 separate instances. One, I got suplexed, backdropped onto light bulbs that was laid on top of thumbtacks. Now, I believe that was the worst cut on my back because I think I landed on the furthest side of the light bulb on one of like the metal parts, and I think maybe that's what got me. So like right near my left shoulder blade, down towards the bottom is kind of the worst gash, and none of them were bad. I didn't need stitches or liquid Band-Aid or nothing. Like took a shower and they were fine. Now they're starting to. I heal pretty fast too. Probably from all the supplements I take, probably. But I'm like Wolverine or something.
Yeah.
Like, I swear I heal fast. I don't know what it is. And like,
oh man,
I blew my knee out, didn't need surgery. So anyways, but like, and I broke my neck 3 times and haven't had. I don't know, dude. Either I'm stubborn or I heal fast. But so my back's pretty much already healed. And then let's see, and then I speared Tank for the finish through light bulbs. I literally didn't even feel that. There was no scratches on my neck or my shoulder.
See, that's my biggest thing is, I mean, you spear with your right shoulder, right?
Uh-huh.
There's something about my head being that close. I don't know if, I guess when you're spearing Tank, you could be on the other side of Tank than the light bulbs, but still, like, that's a very sensitive area to get cut on.
Yeah,
so,
no, and you don't even think about, like, I don't think about that. You know?
You can't, otherwise you might get hurt.
And the biggest thing is, my thing is, like, the faster, more explosive you do something, most likely the better. Like, the slower you try to walk and be quiet, the more loud you're going to be. Just walk fast and get
100%.
it over with, So that was kind of my thought process with everything that we did. So pain level on those 2, I'm going to say if 5 is like stump your toe and,
hurts for a minute,
and 10 is like bone sticking out, right? I'd say that stuff right there that I just did, maybe like a 3 because of the initial poking of everything in me and knowing my back was bleeding. Like I could tell I knew my back was bleeding at that point. There's like a smell and a feeling on your body that you just know you're bleeding.
Yeah.
So I maybe like a 3, right? I'd rather, like, if I stump my toe, this would piss me off more. The skewers. Okay. So I've seen the skewers done now at Anarchy several times. I've watched Tank's death matches. I've seen Nathan take them. I've talked to guys about it, and everybody says, like, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. And I think when they say it's not that bad, they're trying to be tough in the deathmatch community. And I get that. Listen, hey, there's tough, and then there's stupid, all right? There's tough, and there's faking it. Like, I guess a part of being tough is faking it, right? Not showing pain, not showing mercy, gritting it out, figuring it out. I get that. And I get that you want to be tough because that's a cool thing to do. Here's what I'm going to say about the skewers. I wasn't scared of them at all. In the back, actually, I asked Tank and Travis, said, hey, are we doing the skewers? And they said, I don't think we brought them. And then we get to the ring, and Rev is the one that gave Tank the skewers. And in the ring, I go, I didn't think you brought those. And he goes, I got them. You want to do them? And I was like, yeah, I want to do them. So
gotta get the full experience.
yeah, I want to do them. So we did that. He went to stick them in my head. And if you watch the video, I've got pictures, but I don't know if we can loop them in or not.
Here's the thing. I'm not sure if we can.
Okay,
just
maybe
because
not.
of all the blood.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe not. So the skewers. Now I'm going to show you what he did to my. This is my head, and this is the bottom of this is the skewers. This is how he put them in my head. And then he got them there, and then okay, let's pretend like I'm holding the skewers and they're kind of pierced my head. Then he did this.
Ah.
And then he did this, and several fell down.
Yeah.
But several, more than several, stuck out of my head.
You look like a
porcupine.
Yeah. 100%.
But, you know, and I'd seen people take that, and I sold it. And listen, if you go back and watch that when it comes out in IWTV, and I have it on my phone, I'm going to try to clip some of the parts out of it and put it up on YouTube and the shorts and TikTok too. I'll get that out no later than this weekend, but probably tomorrow. And I'm screaming in this video, right? And I'm selling. Well, I'm screaming and I'm flexing. There's these pictures, and listen. I love the pictures because I'm laying down. I got my shirt on, so I look good. Listen, I'm excited about that physique right there for 218. Your boy looked all right, okay? But I'm flexing as hard as I can, and I'm screaming because it hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts. Listen, played Division I football. I've been on the field with some studs. Went up against some guys that are still in the league. Played on the same team with guys that are still in the league. I know what it takes to do that. I know the injuries. I've seen them. I've been AC joints, blown out knees, broken necks, broken fingers, dislocated fingers, dislocated shoulders, broken nose, you stepping on your toes, high ankle sprains, bone bruises, all of it. I've had it all. Either torn hamstrings, tweaked hamstrings, torn. I'm not making these up. Go back and check my records. Listen, dude, that stuff hurt too. Okay, some more worse than other, but sticking wood, sharp wood, into your head does not feel good. Okay, does not feel good. But I had the adrenaline of the people there. I had some alcohol in my system. I was doing it with my buddy, and I knew that the number one way for me to get respect within the deathmatch community is to take that spot. And not just take the spot the way anyone could, but to take the spot, sell it, and actually sit there and make sure that those things stuck in my head, look good, get to the camera, make sure there's a picture taken, get to the hard cam, make sure it looks good on the hard cam, and then do something that I haven't seen other people do in a match, which was rip them out of my head and stare back at Tank. I think that created a cool moment. That was awesome. And then the blood, as soon as I pulled it out of my head, that's when the blood immediately poured down my face. So I think that the little things within the match that I like to look at that other people don't get caught up in, where people say, you know, whatever, that's the stuff where I think I do a good job. But that's just me. And that's me tooting my own horn. I mean, you toot. If you ain't going to toot it, nobody is. So that's where, like, I think I pay attention in movies, I pay attention in storytelling, and I pay attention in the little things of pro wrestling. I think that's where I'm good at that, but I think podcasting has helped out a lot in that. And I don't know why, but I just think that it has.
Yeah.
Because
you have camera presence.
Yeah. Yeah. I truly do believe that's a thing. So the skewers, 1 out of 10. Okay, there's no bone sticking out of my body, but I will stump my toe every day over sticking skewers in my head every day.
Oh, 100%.
And it actually, like, for like a day, kind of like, I still got scabs up here.
Yeah.
And I had holes in my head the next day. So, listen, I'm going to give it a 7. Pain level, it was a solid 7. You know, it wasn't a torn ligament, so I'm not going to give it like a 9. It wasn't a broken bone. I think a broken bone's about an 8. It didn't come through the skin, So it wasn't a 10. But by God, it went into the skin.
Yeah.
And it was unnecessary pain. So,
100%.
but it got the reaction we needed. Third, this is going to surprise people, the door. So the door was heavy, like we said earlier, heavy-duty door.
And Tank, I watched Tank put those doors up.
Yeah.
Even Tank was struggling with those doors. And Tank's a big guy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's a very strong guy. But, man, those doors, even him just putting them up in the ring, like one of them, when he first put it in, one of them like was on the corner and then slid down. I remember hearing it like hit the ring. It was just a big thump, and I was like, oh, no.
Yeah. They were heavy-duty doors. Listen, I don't know much about doors, but you see, I was this guy in college once upon a time, Ethan. There's been rumors out there, stories that have been told. I think some stories have been exaggerated a little bit at this point, not by me, but by others, and I just let them talk because, the legend gets bigger as you get older.
Absolutely.
But there was a time frame at UTC, and we've talked about it on here before, the FSU crew. Use your imagination, blank up. I think you can figure that out if you put two cuss words right there that start with an F and an S and an up. So pretty much what we'd do is if we went to a party, that's what we did, FSU. If we threw a party at our place, unfortunately, FSU, didn't matter. If we went out of town, went to the bars, see if we can get kicked out.
No tables or doors were safe.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Driving down the road, throwing, bro, if there was alcohol in the system, FSU. So, and how we would do that is we'd drink a bottle of, like a little small bottle. Each person would drink a bottle of Fireball, and then we'd leave. And then, you'd usually black out, but whatever. Not saying that. So, let's just say I've ran through a door or 10 or 17 in my life, and none of the doors that I've ran through or walls that I've stuck my head through in my past felt like these doors. These doors were heavy. These were like front doors. This wasn't like a hallway door. This was like a front of your house door. So when I went through the first one, I felt that thing. I had to get some momentum going and actually throw myself through that bad boy. And then it kind of scraped up my shoulder a little bit because the frame didn't break. Just the middle of the door broke. So the frame was sturdy. And then I tried to throw Tank through one of the doors, and it didn't break at all. And then I had to run through that door, put myself through that one to make that visual break. So the doors, man, the doors hurt. So I'd say the doors I'd put the doors at a 6. I'd put the doors at a 6 because they broke easy, but depending on how I went through it, it wouldn't have hurt as bad. So maybe I did it to myself a little bit. So I'll put that at a 6. It's worse than stumping your toe. Not as bad as having wood stuck into your head. All right? So that's what we'll put it. We'll put it at thumbtacks and light bulbs. That's like a magic trick. That's like a 3. It's almost like
it's like laying on a bed of nails.
It's like falling down and landing on a toenail or something. Gotcha. But the other two, those were avoidable. And if I could, maybe I'd avoid it again. So that's Deathmatch, man. I enjoyed it. I had a blast. I just want to thank all you guys for coming to it and all the support online as well, and the reviews from Larry Goodman and Duke and Georgia Wrestling History. I just want to say thank you. I hope I did the Deathmatch community proud. Because that is my one and only death match. I am not only because I don't want to do anymore, because Tia might literally have my last death match at home if I ever have another one of those, and she might ruin my life. But Marcus enjoyed it, and she's cool now. She's cool now about it. But I'm so mad.
Listen,
so mad.
I got to tell a little backstory here. So me and Gunner rode with you and Tia down.
You and Sting rode with me.
Yeah. Me and Sting rode down with you guys, you and Tia and Marcus. But Lauren, Sting's fiance, and Brianna, one of my friends, who had never been to a wrestling show before.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lauren may have or may not have. She's been around long enough when we did like AEW and stuff like that. So she's been around wrestling. But Brianna never been around wrestling.
Okay.
She had no idea what she was getting herself into.
Sure.
Um,
What a show to show up to.
Exactly. And she had met you, I think, once or twice, and she got to know Tia a little bit because they sat right next to them.
Oh, okay.
They were right behind Marcus and Tia.
Okay.
For the whole show, and they evidently hit it off really well, all three of them. And they went to say bye to Tia as you were walking back to get cleaned up, and Tia was not having any of it.
Yeah.
She was full on mad. Which, let's be honest here, can we blame her? There were a few really great spots though, and I wanted to mention this. There was one where you came over. You came over to Marcus 3 times. There was once at the very beginning of the match before anything happened, once during the match, while you were getting beat up, and then at the end of the match. And the one at the end of the match, I hope I got on camera because it was really, really good. You gave Marcus a hug, but there was I guess you bumped cheeks or something because there was this really long streak of blood on Marcus's face. He was still he was happy. He was happy you gave him a hug.
Yeah.
But man, that was a great visual. And then the second thing I wanted to bring up, watching you get cleaned up, you're saying that it wasn't that bad, and I'm sure it didn't hurt that bad. And the worst cut you got was this one long gash, and we told you. Because I was looking right at it, Sting was too, and Jeff was, this big long gash, and it just had this little, it looked like a strand of yarn was hanging off your back, and Jeff just goes, "Oh wait, you got a little skin there," and he just reaches in and plucks it right off of you, and man, I am not queasy with blood, I'm not queasy with injury, pain doesn't affect me. I'm pretty good with all that. But, man, I don't know. There's something looking at your back, just covered in glass, wood, thumbtacks. I wasn't getting queasy, but I was just like, ugh.
Well, hey, man, we got some good footage.
100%.
Hopefully that stuff used in the right way. If not, we can use it here. But, yeah, man, so we did that. But then after that, got home Sunday. Tia and I decided to start doing 75 Hard.
I've seen that.
75 Hard, which is a program by Andy Frisella. Andy Frisella has the Real AF podcast, YouTube channel. Highly recommend you check it out. But, Gary Lamb's doing it, and he's on day 42, and I've been seeing him post about it. And Jesse came in last week, and Jesse was talking about it, and I've heard about it. I've just never jumped into it, and I said, you know what, maybe T would want to do it. So we were at dinner Sunday, and I said, hey, we think about doing 75 Hard. And she asked me, hey, what's 75 Hard? And I said, well, explain it right here. It's 2 workouts a day. Both have to be at least 45 minutes long, and one has to be outside. So an hour and a half of working out with 45 minutes of it being outside. And then you have to read 10 pages of a self-help or business-related book, a nonfiction book. You have to read it, not listen to it, which is different for me because I usually listen. You have to drink a gallon of water, which I don't drink a lot of water, but I don't drink a lot of bad drinks. I probably drink too many energy drinks.
What do you drink, Gunner?
I mean, I do drink water. I'm just saying, I don't drink a lot of teas and Cokes and stuff like that.
That was product placement.
Sorry. I do drink Range. I do drink a lot of energy drinks. Range right here. Sorry. Yep, my bad. See, if they had freaking pot to sponsor me, wouldn't have this problem. And then let's see. But Tia drinks a lot of Cokes, so I knew that was going to be a little bit of a challenge. But I was like, hey, if you want to do this, let's do it. So she said, yeah. And then it's no cheat meals. You got to stick to a diet, and there's no cheat meals. So what does that mean? It's not very specific. It doesn't say any diet, or it doesn't say a specific diet. It says any diet. So the way we're doing it is, just eat clean. We're trying to eat clean and, not have any sweets at nighttime. And then I've even told her, hey, how about this? How about if you drink a gallon of water, and then if you want a Coke, have a Coke. But before you drink the Coke, make sure you drink a gallon of water. And I'm doing the gallon of water as well. So by the time you finish a gallon of water, man, after you haven't been doing it that much and it's 8 o'clock at night, you go to drink a Coke, you don't even want one, you know?
Yeah.
So we're filling ourselves up with water. We're walking. Our evening workout is walking with Marcus around the track over at Central.
That's good.
And then, you know, I'm obviously doing my workouts and she's doing like running and stuff or whatever she wants to do. And then we're both reading the same book. We're both reading The Power of One by Ed Milet. I kind of get on the same, you know, wavelength there for the first time that we've ever, like, you know, tried to do like the partnership motivational, you know,
Couples thing.
Yeah. So and then the diet, you know, we're just gonna clean it up, and then, you know, no cheat meals and no alcohol, right? So we're on day 4, man. I'm done for the day. I've just got a little bit of water left, and I got to read 10 pages. But I've done everything else for today. And then, you know, she texted me right before I guess we started the episode. She said, "Hey, I'm gonna jump on the elliptical." So she's on the elliptical right now, and you know, it's hard. It's long days because of work and Marcus and baseball and podcasting and writing things and all kinds of stuff, man. So, but we're on it, day 4, and you know, I think the main reason why we're doing this is because, hey, we're getting married next year. You know, we don't have a date set per se, but I think we're looking back half of the year, so probably 3rd, 4th quarter next year. So
yeah, you got playing around Samoa.
Yeah, you got playing around Samoa. So we're doing 3rd, 4th quarter next year, roughly. Right now, no date set in stone, but that's what I'd guesstimate. And you know, so this is kind of the kickoff to get us to in our wedding bodies and kind of our next phase in life bodies, if you'd say that. Due to COVID and just crazy work schedules and us being on different time frames and, you know, just life.
Her being in Nashville.
Yeah, her being in that. Yeah, just it hasn't been easy, man, but we've made it through. And now, you know, it's looking a little bit brighter on this side. We both kind of have the same schedule and off at the same time, and I have a little bit more of a flexible schedule as well. And both companies don't mind Marcus being around, so we're in a good spot right now, and we're going to take advantage of it and, you know, kind of work on ourselves, get back to our peak shape. And then the goal was, Ethan, here was the challenge, though, because I put up a challenge on Facebook, and it was, we shook on this too. So first one to lose or quit, right, has to pay the other person $1,000 if they don't make it.
That's on the
it's on Facebook
part thing.
Yep. But if we both successfully complete it, we will take the $1,000 that we was going to each spend on each other and put it towards a, you know, like a family vacation. And I think we do a beach trip. I think that what I've kind of said is if we need to take a beach trip before the 75 days is over, and we've been doing it consistently, you know, like for a month or so, and we think we got a routine down, let's go ahead and just pull the trigger on it. Let's do it, and then let's just hold ourselves accountable to doing it the rest of the time, because once you kind of do something for 21 days, it's easier to keep doing that thing, whether it's wrong or good. So that's been fun. Oh, and you got to take a progress picture every day. So, like, you have to send it to nobody, but you take a progress picture. So there's an app, 75 Hard. It's like $4.99 in the App Store. It has a daily thing. Literally, you click, boom, had my first workout, boom, read 10 pages, boom, second workout, boom, I had a good diet, boom, no cheat meals, boom, progress picture. And then it says, do you want to post this on Instagram and on Facebook and wherever? And then you post it, and it marks out the day, and then it goes to the next day. So, you know, dude, listen, it's a great program. Andy's crushing it in that thing. I'd love to talk to him, but, you know, he's crushing it. So, and then this weekend, or I guess over the weekend as well, because we played some baseball. So I guess before we actually got to the 75 Hard part, took Marcus and one of his little buddies from the team to go see Jurassic World. I know that I haven't looked at any reviews, and I haven't had any. There's zero. Nobody's influencing what I'm about to say. So you're getting a raw reaction of a review from the movie, a sober view from the movie. All right,
okay.
With 2 kiddos. All right, at nighttime where they both almost wanted to fall asleep. Here's what I thought. I like the Jurassic parks. I think that, you know, at my age, obviously, the best Jurassic parks are the first Jurassic Park, because it was something in cinema that had really never been seen at that time. So it was, you know, groundbreaking.
It holds up.
And it still holds up, right?
Yeah.
And it was basic and simple with a good storyline, and I could go back and watch that movie whenever I wanted to, and the cast was great.
100%.
All right, so I think they got a little bit worse as they went on, and then kind of got a little bit more of juice behind it when Chris Pratt came into the series, and then maybe that got stale for just a minute. But obviously there was the park, and then there was the island. Then they kind of took over the world. Well, what are they going to do, right? So the advertising of this movie, the promo for this movie was, you're going to bring back the original cast and meet them with the new cast. So you knew you were going to get the backstory of kind of where they've been in the in-between. They're doing present-day type stuff. And all the old actors looked like themselves, acted like themselves, were themselves. Like it was like they just filmed the movie in 93 and jumped right back in 2022. So, I mean, kudos to them for doing that. And they look pretty good doing it, man. Like, I don't know how old they were in 1993, but for it to be 2022, they look pretty damn good.
Jeff Goldblum alone just looks good.
Looks good. I mean, so I thought it was awesome. I thought, like, storyline-wise, if I just had to be an absolute critic, maybe clean up all the beginning type stuff before they got to the end, because the end I thought was awesome. But I don't know, man. It was a lot in a few hours, but it was good. It's a dinosaur movie, man. So like, it's not like we're hiding from the Tyrannosaurus Rex in the first movie, and all you want to see is him crush the car. Like, no, like we've got to see some real stuff, dude. We're watching real murders on live streams now. So like, you got to bring it in the movies. So it was action packed. It looked like it was stuff that could be real, with Chris Pratt riding horses with the dinosaurs, and then riding the bicycles in the little town with the dinosaurs, and had the awesome jumps on the plane, and the big ass extra large pterodactyls that are attacking planes as like the aerial defense. And I mean, you had the OG T-Rex in it, but then you also had the largest carnivore, the Gigantosaurus in it. I mean, and he's the bad guy, and T-Rex is now the good guy in all these new Jurassic World and Park, or these new movies, which is awesome. There was one scene that was freaking great. And I don't know if you better pick this up. You seen it?
I have not seen it.
Okay, there's one scene that's fantastic. God dang it. One scene that is fantastic. And I don't think I spoiled anything for you because I didn't tell you any storyline. I literally just told you like parts that you're going to see with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So, but there's
it's all been in the trailers.
Yeah, there's one scene, dude, that's it's at the very end. There's like fire going everywhere, and there's this place they're at where all the dinosaurs are, and it's at this outside of this compound, and this compound has this like a statue type of cathedral type thing outside. I don't know. It's like a circle, like a big circle, but of decorative stone sculpted, like a Stonehenge type looking circle thing.
Gotcha.
Very modern. Like Elon Musk built a circular waterfall that fell into itself and recycled back up. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. Yeah.
So that's what it kind of looked like. It was like a waterfall looking thing that kind of fell into itself and then vacuumed back up and kept falling. T-Rex at the end is coming up, and he walks to where his head sticks into the circle, and it's like dark, and there's fire in the background, so it's kind of like blackish yellow, and it's the logo from the first movie.
Gotcha.
And dude, it's just a 1 second clip that if you're a huge movie fan and you just go and you try to like really notice the details, you got to watch that part. That part will almost be like choke you up for a second. But listen, dude, I don't know if like if we're gonna rate this bad boy, rate the movie. I mean, 10 being The Dark Knight and 0 being freaking Mr. Bean. Like, or let's put the Jurassic Park. If Jurassic Park 1 is a 10,
yeah.
And what's the worst one? Jurassic Park 3?
Yeah.
Okay, Jurassic Park 3 is a 1. this is a 7.
Okay.
You know, like
better than half the movies.
Yeah, better than half the movies, and as good or better than any of the recents.
Okay.
That's the way
the
I'd
best
put it.
out of these 3.
Yeah, I'd say very very close.
Now, Gunner, you got to talk about Jurassic Park.
All right.
Jurassic World.
Okay.
It's my turn. I get to talk about the movie that I've seen here recently that blew my mind, and I know it blew yours because we both were pretty happy with it. I went and saw Top Gun with Brianna.
Yeah.
We both were very happy with it.
Yeah.
I had joked with her that we needed to watch the first one to remind ourselves, and so I think I don't think she did, but the night before, it was 2 weekends ago, I went home and I just sat down and put on Top Gun.
Okay. Now
it's been a while since I've seen the first one.
Now, when you watched the first one, did you watch it like I'm on my phone texting my buddies watch it, or did you watch it like you want to know everything about the first one because you're about to go watch the new one?
The second.
Okay.
The latter.
Okay, me too. I did the same thing.
Because I'm one of those people, like, we've been over it. I haven't watched as many movies as I should.
Right.
When we first met, I had not seen Rocky. That has now changed, but it has been a while since I had seen Top Gun. But I had seen it, so I was familiar. But I watched Top Gun, and I was really happy. It's not the best movie of the 80s. It's nothing spectacular, but it is a good movie. It's a classic movie. Top Gun Maverick, I would argue, is the best sequel to have come out of this nostalgic, let's take something from the 80s, bring it to modern day, and have the old actor play his character again, and go. Top Gun Maverick is the best one of that. We both also saw Ghostbusters Afterlife, and we're both very happy with it. This is better than that.
Yeah, like, dude, I mean, if you put all these movies into, like, where would you? I mean, dude, yeah, Ghostbusters was good. The Jurassic World was good.
Yeah.
But, I mean, dude, Tom Cruise is a dime piece. I said this on the last episode. Like, Tom Cruise is a dime piece. Like, dude, like, take out listen, if you're a dude and you don't think you can call another dude attractive, I don't know what to tell you, because obviously, I mean, you're just lying to yourself.
I mean, I'll say it.
Tom Cruise, dude, 60 years old, man.
Yeah.
And there's scenes with him with his shirt off, and that's not CGI. Dude's in good shape.
Good.
He's a small guy, right? But he looks good. He looks as body-wise as good as he did in, whenever the movie was, 1990, 4, 3?
No, it was like 80.
Or 1980 something.
Let's check this.
So he looked great. And, I mean, the way they tied in Goose's son and Miles Teller playing him did a fantastic job.
1986 was the original.
1986, get out of here, bro. I'm 31 years old, and I was born in 1991.
Yeah.
Get out of here, bro. For 35 years ago, get out of here.
Yes.
I mean, look at the difference in him and Val Kilmer. Now, I ain't trying to say anything. Val Kilmer, he's about out. But the way they played that with Iceman.
The best way they could have done it.
I mean.
I respect that.
And the fact that Tom Cruise was going to hold out unless they got him to do it, that's great. And
I even respect Val Kilmer for holding out as long as he did.
And the guy that played like the new Iceman, Hangman,
yeah,
I thought he was okay. So I like to describe. I think the girl they were trying to make like Tom Cruise
a little bit
in the first one,
yep,
but just gave her like a supporting role in this because Tom's still in it and he's the main character. But if they was to do a spinoff or a TV show, I think she's the lead.
100%.
And then Miles Teller is her Goose.
Yep.
Right? But he just got more of a main role in this one because he replaced Goose.
Yep.
And then Hangman got the same amount of airtime that Iceman would have gotten in the actual movie. And he's a perfect bad guy, dickhead, good teammate that they need that could possibly be the next Admiral if you was to do one in 5 more years or give it a show. Like, if you took those 3 guys, the 2 guys and the girl, and you just did Top Gun Netflix.
Yeah.
Bro, it would – and have just Tom Cruise being the pilot and then just have him being very sporadic episodes,
Yeah.
that thing would hit.
Here's the thing, and that's what's so great about this movie is I don't know if it's Tom Cruise being the producer and Tom Cruise having the vision and being a dick about it. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But what I can say is whoever was in charge of this movie obviously loved Top Gun. Obviously.
Yeah.
There's no way they would have done this. I feel like after watching it, I can't tell what they could have done, what they would have done differently if anybody else was in charge.
Yeah.
This was solid. It was both action packed in the right places and also slow in the right places.
Dude, the spoilers, the freaking, I'm gonna call it a SR-72, right? Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
Right. But the hypersonic Mach 10.
The Mach 10.
And we haven't even made it to Mach 6 yet, if anybody's wondering.
Yeah.
But the Mach 10.
Top secret project.
Dude, I think the one we're going to use, we're actually going to do a drone because we don't think the humans can get in there and survive it. But Tom Cruise is such a badass that he said he's going to go past 6 and he's going straight into Mach 10. But that aircraft, that whole scene where he's flying towards the sun and he's like keeping the stick, trying to keep it steady, and he's like, talk to me, Goose, talk to me, Goose. And it's like flashbacking with Goose, almost like a Rocky scene. And then he just finds that one jet stream and hits it, and it just goes from like 8.9 to 10.3. Like, awesome. That was a great scene. And then there was a scene. First of all, Tom Cruise flying these jets is very impressive.
That's another thing. Any other lesser studio, any other lesser producer / director would have never taken the time to have these actors get flight ready to fly these planes. But there's just something else. Even in the original Top Gun, they didn't actually do that. They weren't actually flying the planes.
Right.
But in this one, for some reason, because I guess Tom Cruise is crazy. Let's be honest, here he is. Miles Teller, Tom Cruise, everybody you see in a plane was actually flying the plane. Well, now, obviously, they may not have been doing all the tricks and stuff that they had to do, but they used as many practical effects. They flew the jets the right way in a cinematic way. I was watching something about it. Like, there's a scene from the trailer where like the two students are flying through the air, and Tom Cruise like flies up between them to scare them. That was practical. Like they actually did that. Now, for it to be legal and for insurance purposes and everything else, they couldn't actually do it that close. But there's a lot of camera tricks that you can do and make it look like they're much closer than they were.
Weren't close to each other. But they were in those directions.
Yes, and that's what's, again, that's why I think this is just good. There was also. It was just the story. There was nothing, no fluff, nothing added to it that didn't need to be added to it. It was, here's the setup, here's the story, here's the problem for Maverick. Here's how he's going to try and handle it. He handles it bad, or he handles it good. We don't know until the very end when they actually go do the thing. And I'm just going to say it. The third set piece of this movie, from the third act on, I could watch that for days.
So if I could fantasy book this, we like to fantasy book WrestleManias and matches or whatever. If I could fantasy book this and in hindsight give the directors one bit of what I would like to see in the movie. Maybe some people think this is cheesy, but I'd have loved to see this happen. When they do the test course, Rooster is going, he finishes it, but he goes too slow, so he knows he's going to get shot down, right? He's the only one to finish, but he goes too slow. He's kind of afraid to push it, I think, because his dad got killed.
You don't want to push it.
He's afraid to push it. He's afraid to let it loose.
He's thinking too much.
It gets to the one where they actually have to do it for real.
Yeah, they're in the mission.
And they're in it, and Tom's leading the way with Phoenix behind him, right? And then Goose is in the double one with the back. Has got his boy, right? So they're flying. And Tom's getting away from him, and
Yeah.
Rooster's losing his way. There's a scene right there where Rooster like it kind of hits him, and he's like, oh, shakes it off, puts it in gear, catches back up. He lets it ride. Do you know how that should have went?
No.
It should have went with Tom Cruise being up front, and then that guy talking in the Rooster's ear, being like, "Hey man, we got to go, we got to go, we got to go, we got to step on it," because that's what his boy was doing in the back.
Yeah, he had a wingman.
Yeah, he's like, "What is? We got to go, we got to go, we got to go," and right then, Tom should have got on the radio and been like, "Rooster, I feel the need." And then him say, "Need for speed," and then hit that bitch and take off. That's the only thing that I think we could have added that they left out from the first movie. They left out that one quote, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, but you had the music, you had
Listen.
the opening was fantastic. The opening was the exact same as the first movie.
There's something about just the sunrise on an aircraft carrier. Yeah. When I tell you I peeled out of the movie theater parking lot jamming out to Danger Zone.
Dude, yes, my TikTok from this morning is Danger Zone.
Oh yeah, I saw it. And here's the thing too. If it tells you anything, I usually get pretty average sunglasses. Immediately the same day I saw this movie, I went on and bought some Navigators because they fit my face better than aviators. But I could not have some aviators at that point.
Well, hey man, like we've said, Tom Cruise is a dime piece. Top Gun 2 is better than Top Gun 1.
It's better than any other movie I've seen in the last year.
I told Tia, I said, because I went to go watch it by myself. I went
Yeah.
to the IMAX, watched it by myself.
Oh, you have to see an IMAX.
And I was like, oh, that was awesome. And then I told her, I was like, hey, you want to go watch that movie? She was like, you just went to go see it. I said, yeah, I know. There's only a handful of movies I've seen twice, and even a very small amount, less than that I've seen 3 times in theaters. Let's talk about that. What is the one movie that I've seen? Check that. What is the 2 movies that I've seen 3 times in theater? While they were out, like not during different releases.
Okay, because I was about to say you've seen Rocky at least a couple times.
There's 2 movies that I've seen within the time frame they were out. Like I went like twice in a weekend, and then the next weekend. 2 movies in the history of my life.
One has to be a Marvel movie.
No, because we were talking about this. Like I remember.
I'll be shocked if you get it. You'll be like, oh man.
So,
Any of that?
no.
I'll give you a hint. No movie has The Rock in it.
which is actually the most surprising fact about this.
No, it doesn't have The Rock. The Rock is in several that have 2, but not.
But not 3.
But not 3.
So you for sure. These have been like within the last couple of, at least as long as I've known you. At least one of them, I'm pretty sure.
The one you're probably thinking of is probably 2.
Oh, okay. Then I'm honestly not sure because 3 times is quite a lot.
What would you think? What would you think the other one was?
Oh, if I had to say one of them being 3 times in the movie theater, actually, you know what? I don't even know.
I may have went 4 to this one.
Oh God, that's a lot. I've seen a couple of movies in the last couple of years.
I know it's my most common, most watched movie. Like if it's on TV, I watch it. If I get bored and I'm by myself, I watch it because I don't really watch it with Tia. She don't like it.
Man, this is frustrating me because I feel like I know this because we've had to have talked about this before because I've definitely seen movies twice with you.
We've talked about it.
Was one of them Creed or Creed 2?
Oh, hell no.
Exactly. I don't know.
Is it a what?
Bond movie?
No. I've only seen all Bonds once, and I haven't seen them all of them.
But it's an action, I'm assuming.
There's action in it. I'd say it's more of a satire comedy of a real event with a shit ton of action. It's a true story.
You've stumped me because none of this makes sense to me.
Early 2010s.
Oh God. Jesus.
Early to early mid 2010s.
It's a fun game, but
I don't know
I'm
exactly
not
when it
gonna
came
win.
out. but it had to be then. I was in college. I don't want to give you the main one.
I'll give it away.
Who's the fat guy that gets skinny and then fat? Yeah.
Oh, Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Wolf of Wall Street's my most watched movie in theater.
You've never seen any good movies, Sting.
So here's why. It was like Great Gatsby, then Wolf of Wall Street came out. Like
they were
back to back.
Back-to-back Leo projects.
So I watched Great Gatsby. I'm not a huge fan of Great Gatsby. That's not my style.
So here's the thing about Great Gatsby for me. I had to read it for school, and it literally, as soon as we were told, "Hey, here's Great Gatsby, read it," that movie came out, and I was more than happy to read it, and I read it, but I was more than happy to watch that movie every time I read it.
That makes sense. No, that makes sense. So I just wasn't a huge fan of that because I guess it's not. And then Wolf of Wall Street, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Maybe like going to watch the first Hangover. Like I had no clue really what I was going to watch. And the first time I watched it, I was like, whoa,
what is happening?
Why is this movie over? Like it was like, and plus this was when I was taking a lot of Adderall. So the first time I watched it, I went with a group, and I kind of like missed some things because I was free. I didn't know what was going on, and I was like, dude, I gotta get Adderall and just go watch it by myself. Like that was a good movie. So the next day, I took Adderall and went to go watch it by myself, and I was like, oh my god. More people need to take Adderall and come watch this with me because this is awesome, and they didn't know it too. So then my buddies, we all took Adderall, went and watched it again.
Yeah.
And then then all my other friends were starting to find out about the movie. I was kind of one of the first ones to see it. I just kind of watched it on opening night or whatever, accidentally. And then they were like, dude, have you seen this movie? And I was like, yeah, I have. I'll go with you and watch it too. Like I just kept going back to watch the movie. And now like I've got it on I've bought it on Prime. Like I watch it all the time. I love just the first part of the movie.
That opening is a great opening.
So and then as I get back into sales and business, like I just love it because it's like all the right, wrong motivation that you need to do things. So
because you want to be that guy without all of the consequences.
Yep. So that and then this movie is actually from mid to late 2000s. Rocky Balboa.
Okay.
So Rocky Balboa came out when I was a senior in high school, and I was obsessed with Rockies when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And it was my one chance to watch Rocky on the big screen because all the other ones came out before I was alive. Yeah. So, dude, I watched that one several times by myself. But that's my cool one. So I've seen Top Gun Maverick now twice.
You want to go see it again?
I could go watch it again.
I
really could. Yeah, I could do a content day. Like if we were looking to do like some content on a movie, I could do Top Gun again. I could definitely do Top Gun again. I'd put it in I'd put it in the 3 category of it being up there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like for me, if I see a movie twice in the movie theater, it's actually very like that's the highest praise I can give it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's ever been a movie that I've seen necessarily 3 times in the movie theater. Maybe like twice in the movie theater, and then as soon as it comes out in video, I'm like, guys, we got to watch this.
Well, because it's either a movie that you watch with your friends, and you're like, ooh, I bet there's another friend of mine that I think would like to watch that, and he probably won't go unless I take him. It's like
exactly
one of those type scenarios, so it's usually a tour.
Yeah.
Or it's like so good and you missed some things, or you maybe fell asleep in it or something. It was just late or something.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm going to do a noon show, so I'm wide awake and watch it. So that's a 2. But then there's the ones that are just good. Really, really, really good. And I couldn't get enough of that movie. I really couldn't get enough of that movie. Now, the trailer for Black Adam also came out.
Man, we said this was going to be a quick one.
And listen, my expectations were high going into the filming and just him working out and everything in the movie. But now, my expectations are like up here.
The exact opposite of the Batman.
Dude, like, okay, imagine this. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is in the same cinema universe as Robert Pattinson.
Well, not really. We've already discussed this. Robert Pattinson's Batman is totally separate.
But they're going to do it to where it jumps quick, and he's there, right?
Sure.
So current modern day Batman is Robert Pattinson. Superman is Henry Cavill, whatever his name is. And Black Adam is The Rock.
Yeah.
This is where wrestling gets a little weird because it's really hard to watch Brock Lesnar wrestle Rey Mysterio and Rey Mysterio win.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we know it's wrestling, it's really hard to see me and Marco Stunt walk into a ring and actually think Marco Stunt's going to win. We know it's wrestling, but how far can we suspend our disbelief, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Rock will rip Robert Pattinson's head off. He doesn't even need a suit. Dude looks fantastic. Speaking of dime pieces. And, dude, the scenes are so perfectly superhero Rock done.
Yeah.
If those are the only good scenes in the movie, like, they're perfect. The hit him over the head with a crowbar, people's eyebrow, hit him over the head with a crowbar, throws him into the ocean, the flying with the planes, eyebrow to the plane, smacks the plane down. A rocket comes at him, catches the rocket, eyebrow to the rocket, the rocket explodes. I mean, get out of here, bro. It is exactly what I need to see.
Here's my thing, and this is what's fascinating. You're where I was for the Batman, and I'm where you were for the Batman for this movie.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Not because I have little faith in The Rock. I have little faith in DC.
Sure.
And it's one of those things where I'm afraid that The Rock is going to overshadow what this movie could be. In the exact opposite way that Robert Pattinson kind of underplayed the Batman.
Right.
And what you were thinking from the trailers and what he was saying. It's hard to use The Rock as anybody else other than The Rock in his movies.
But he's just playing The Rock, who's playing a god.
and that's my other thing.
Just imagine, if you changed Black Adam's origin story, and he was just Dwayne The Rock Johnson as a black slave
as he got
in
Shazammed.
Egypt, and Dwayne Johnson's son got killed, and he saved The Rock, and then these species found The Rock and gave him these powers, and he became a god. So The Rock became the god. And then he's starting to eyebrow people. And
lightning just comes out of
everything
nowhere.
is happening exactly how it should. And as long as, like, there's a scene where it goes, hey, man, superheroes aren't supposed to kill people. And he's like, eyebrow? Well, I do. You know? So, like, it's everything. It's The Rock doing pro wrestling in a superhero movie.
100%. And that's where, like, I have hope in the idea that it's probably going to be a fun movie. There's seldom a movie that I've seen that The Rock is in that it's not at least fun.
Okay, I guess I'll put it that way. Is he going to win an Oscar? Probably not.
Well, no, because it's a superhero movie. They don't give Oscars to those.
Is it probably going to do as good as all the other DC movies? Probably. And is it going to be more fun? Yeah, because it's The Rock.
Yeah.
You know?
100%.
That's the way I'm going to break it down.
And, I mean, what's his name playing?
Pierce Brosnan?
Pierce Brosnan playing Dr. No.
Yeah.
That's not his name. The Doctor Strange of the DC universe.
Yeah.
And, like, there's Hawkman's in it.
Yeah.
I didn't even know Hawkman's in it.
Yeah, got a Black Hawk Man. It's awesome.
That is awesome. I don't know. There's just a lot of things that they could do right. There's little that they could do wrong. I'm really in the middle.
I think even the stuff they do wrong, the Rock fans will just make it right.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of how his fans do. He's got so many fans now. Like, he can have a bad movie, and everybody's like, no, it wasn't. It was good. And everybody's like, yeah, I guess. It's The Rock. Can't really, it's okay.
Yeah, you don't want to make those guys mad.
Yeah. Anyways, all right, well, hey, that was episode 127. That went a lot longer than expected, but hopefully you guys were entertained by it or grabbed some content from it or learned a little bit about a deathmatch. That's a thing, right? So tips, don't follow any light bulbs. Don't go through any doors. And watch out for skewers when you're barbecuing. Don't want to stick them in the head. Stick them in the steak, stick them in the shrimp, not in your forehead. Yeah. We'll Sting over here. I'm retired from the beer drinking days, but that was fun. It was a little bit of a nostalgia right there from a weekend from my retired deathmatch days. So hey, subscribe on YouTube, hit the bell notification, comment, and like this. Head on over to Spotify where Ethan's getting us caught up. We're almost caught up to date on that. I think one's releasing per day up until we get caught up. Apple Podcasts, you make it over there. Leave a review. Facebook page. Obviously, we're going to start pushing that more later, but go like that as well. Twitter, Gunner Miller. The L's are ones. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube stories. Is there anything else I'm missing? I'm running out of social medias. Truth Social, Rumble. Hit me up on all of them. We'll catch you next time.